Hi, friends. How are you today? Welcome back if you are joining us again, and welcome if you're new here. I'm Nikki, and I just like to chat a little bit about history or really whatever I'm interested in. So I hope you find it interesting too. Today, I'm going to be talking about some steamy, scandalous affairs. And these affairs really riled up the people involved and really just shook up their lives. So it'll be interesting to talk about. And these are all like more recent kind of scandals, right? For like from 1930 to current day. So don't come at me with the whole like, oh, that's not history, rah," because I'm just a girl in my room liking to make videos that go on youtube.com. It's not that deep. Call it contemporary history, if you will. I also need to mention, just to cover my own booty, that this is all really alleged. Honestly, a lot of this stuff wasn't super duper like set in stone detailed. There was a lot of speculation involved with the stuff I'm going to be talking about today. So it's all just alleged, just to cover my booty. Not that I'm really important enough to get sued, but I got to cover my own booty. So we're going to dive in no particular order. So maybe pause, grab a snack if you need to, grab a drink if you need to, meet us back, and we'll start talking about our first pair of infamous lovers.
It's men like you who have made me the way I am.
Arguably one of the most infamous affairs from the 20th century was that of Marilyn Monroe and John F. Kennedy. So if you don't know who Marilyn Monroe is, I'm sorry, but you've been living under a rock. She was a very famous actress in the US, model, and she really was a sex symbol and cultural icon. And she rose to stardom in the 1950s. Before stardom, Marilyn Monroe really just had a tough childhood. She was bouncing from group home to group home, in and out of orphanages because her mom really couldn't take care of her. And she really didn't have a father figure from a really young age. When she eventually rose to stardom, she met a lot of friends in Hollywood, and she made a lot of powerful friends, including some in the White House, like with the Kennedy family. So it's alleged that Marilyn Monroe was introduced to John F. Kennedy in 1954 at a dinner party. Some people say that they met after that, some people say they met before. It really depends on who you ask, but that's what I could find. It is alleged that Marilyn was having affairs with both Kennedy brothers, John F. Kennedy, the president, and his brother Bobby Kennedy, who was attorney general at that time. And like from what I found in my research, a lot of people made it sound like Marilyn was looking for a partner, maybe like wanted some kids or something. So I don't know. It really just sounded like she was falling for either JFK or Bobby, and like they were kind of like, no, maybe not. While a lot of people these days might see Marilyn as this like beautiful, sexy cultural icon, like a lot of people did back in the 1950s and 60s too, but like they weren't gonna bring her home to their parents, like that was a little taboo at the time. And I really feel like this speaks volumes about the lack of respect for her at this time, because I'll even give you an example. Around this time when Marilyn was, just doing her thing as an actress, studios would not pay her as much as they would pay other actors and actresses because she was seen as like this dumb blonde character. And it's really unfortunate because she was typecast, and, it really didn't give her a chance to even try and pursue the roles that she would want. So it really sucks because that's just one illustration of how people thought she was beautiful, thought she was sexy and all that, but they didn't really respect her. And that kind of bled over into different aspects of her life. So another hot name at this time was, of course, everyone's favorite hot president, John F. Kennedy. And I don't know. So people say that he's hot, right? I don't know if I agree. I mean, objectively, he's handsome, but I mean, who are you going to compare him to? These goons? So I said it before, and I'll say it again, but it was rumored that JFK was having an affair with Marilyn Monroe. And like, it's not even like he was just having an affair with her, it's like a lot of women. Okay, I had a laundry list of names when I was researching. Like, there was just so many. So he got around. So if this man is running around like some hussy, then why is everyone clutching their pearls when they're talking about Marilyn Monroe with him? I don't know. I was like, okay, great. He's been cheating on his wife a lot. Marilyn and JFK met in 1954, like I said before, but it wasn't said that they were really having an affair until 1962. And JFK must have had like some really good sausage or something because Marilyn was head over heels for this guy from the sounds of it. She even called the White House. Yeah, she got so caught up in it that she called Jackie Kennedy, John F. Kennedy's wife, at the White House and told her that JFK was going to leave her for Marilyn. And if this is true, Jackie's response was kind of badass because she said, quote, Marilyn, you'll marry Jack and that's great. And you'll move into the White House and you'll assume all the responsibilities of the First Lady. And I'll move out and you'll have all the problems. Honestly, Jackie seems like a bad bitch herself. Like, I would be mad too if my frat boy of a husband was sleeping with everyone except me. Although she wasn't like sunshine and rainbows all the time, like 24/7. She wasn't calm, cool, collected. Jackie had an agreement with her husband. She said, you can get jiggy with as many ladies as you want, so long as it doesn't become public knowledge. Which, like, it sounds like it was already kind of public knowledge. Maybe it was just their inner circle. Maybe I'm kind of mixing it up. I don't know. Anyway, Jackie was kind of nervous about Marilyn, okay? Because Marilyn was sort of a loose cannon.
Got a loose cannon here.
Like, she was a little intense sometimes, okay? So Jackie was scared that because Marilyn was kind of a loose cannon, she would go to the public and she would go to the newspapers, the tabloids, and tell them about the rumored affair. Jackie didn't really have to worry for too long, though, I guess, because eventually it sounds like if they were having an affair, JFK kind of lost interest and he was sort of like, okay, I'm done with you. But she sparked up an affair with Bobby. Honestly, this affair was just a lot. There was so much conflicting evidence. So I won't give you too much more like weird info to go off of, but I will leave you with a few more pieces of info. Less than 3 months after Marilyn sung her sultry version of Happy Birthday to the president, she ended up dying.
Happy birthday, Mr. President. Happy birthday to you.
She was found dead in her LA home due to a drug overdose of barbiturates at the age of 36. Really unfortunate. Interestingly, her housekeeper said that Bobby Kennedy was there on the night of her death and that they had gotten into an argument. Yeah. I will leave you with that information. Let me know what you think happened. Like, do you think that they had an argument and something sus was going on? Or do you think that, they had the argument and then maybe that just kind of led Marilyn to feel really crappy and, unalive herself, unfortunately?
And trying to prove your innocence when you know full well that there's nothing that's gone on.
Okay, so I know the last affair was kind of a downer, and I'm sorry, but this one is a little less intense. So, this next affair is not really just one, it's multiple, and there's like absolutely no proof whatsoever. I just fell down a rabbit hole and I researched it for like 5 hours, so now you guys have to listen to it. And I thought it would be interesting to explore this person's affair because there's been a lot of affairs between supposed family men and other women. So, yeah. So, we're going to chat about David Beckham's various rumored affairs with multiple women, much to the disgust of his wonderful wife, Victoria Beckham. You might know Victoria as Posh Spice from the Spice Girls. These two tied the knot in 1999, And over the course of their 23-year marriage, David has really like crafted a wonderful image of like a family guy. And he's stolen the heart of the public and his family by being really hot and good at soccer. Um, I'm in America, so I do say soccer. I apologize. We like to call football soccer, and we like not use the metric system. Anyway, the first accusation of David's infidelity came in 1999 when Victoria was pregnant with their first child. David called Victoria while she was on tour with the Spice Girls to tell her that he had been accused of kissing somebody else. And when Victoria saw him again, you want to know what she did? She knocked the daylights out of him. Yeah. So I'm not advocating for like to like hit anyone, but she straight up like walked up to him and just closed fist punched him in the face. So kind of intense, kind of an intense way to start off a marriage. But they started off their marriage that way because a few months later they got married. But this was not the end of the cheating rumors, okay? Because in 2004, David was accused of cheating on his wife yet again by his personal assistant, Rebecca Luce, while he was playing for Real Madrid. So David and Rebecca were hanging out in Spain while Victoria was at home in Manchester, UK, to take care of the kids. And while Vicky was at home taking care of the kids, friggin' David and Rebecca were out here spotted in a nightclub just smooching on each other. Sources said that there were some saucy texts that were exchanged between David and Rebecca, and this prompted Victoria to come all the way out to Spain and tell Rebecca to back off of her man. That's just what a source says. And when I say that, I don't really know if it's like a reputable source, like someone close to the family, or if it just means like any Joe Schmo off the street, but that's what I read. So Victoria and David were kind of just in the boat of denying this all ever happened. Meanwhile, Rebecca was the one to kind of step forward and voice her truth because, quote, it was just kind of eating her up. She was living a lie and keeping secrets, end quote. And that's Rebecca's words. She even mentioned how a celebrity agent like approached her about making a sex tape with David and how it could pay her out like £1 million. So this didn't even really seem to faze the Beckhams much because like I said, they were just in the train of like deny, right? But it's not like there are even just a few cheating allegations against David. He's got a lot of claims against him. Everything from like hiring a sex worker to meeting up with his daughter's third grade school teacher and impregnating her. So there's just like a wide range of these rumors, okay? Now, like all of these claims are ones that the Beckhams have denied, but I don't know, it just seems a little fishy that there's 5 or 6 women coming forward or, you know, just somebody coming forward to say that they saw David with this person. It just seems a little weird to be like, no, that wasn't me. I don't know. Let me know what you think. Do you think David is a manho, or do you think that all these people are just coming out for clout? Okay, so I know that a lot of people like hearing about tea and drama surrounding the British royal family. And people liked hearing the tea all the way back to like the 1930s. Okay. Back then, Prince Edward VIII was getting ready to ascend to the throne and become king. He was an eligible young bachelor, just kind of doing his own thing. This meant Edward had the freedom to see as many women as he wanted, and he took full advantage of that because he had various mistresses. His main mistress was Lady Furness from like 1930 to 1934-ish. In 1931, Lady Furness threw a big bougie house party for all of her friends, and she invited Prince Edward. So, of course, it was pretty cool, but she was like, well, let me look around and see who else I want to invite. So she invited one of her fellow American friends, Wallis Simpson, and her husband. And even though Wallis was married, she did catch the eye of the prince, and the two sparked up a friendship. When they initially met, Edward described her as well-dressed, elegant, and, quote, sympathetic, understanding, and witty, end quote. By this time, Wallis was on her second marriage, which was very unconventional for the time. This, paired with her kind of unconventional friendship with the prince, raised a lot of eyebrows within the royal family. They're like, what's going on? Their close friendship was so like weird, in fact, that in 1934 the king was like, "Okay, Edward, come here for a second. Let's just go to the side." And he was like,
Okay, like what's up? Are you guys a thing?
Edward played dumb. He was like,
No, I don't know what you're talking about. But
I don't know. He kind of had an eye for Wallis. Okay. Even later, Edward would say that like nothing ever happened between he and Wallis during her second marriage. Like nothing. They were just friends. Just friends. Uh-huh. Okay. I gotcha. Seems legit. So the royal family is raising their eyebrows, whatever. They're raising their posh little eyebrows, whatever. But Edward is young. He's wild. He's free, right? He's doing his thing. He's doing his eligible bachelor thing, like we said. Up until 1936, though, when his mom called him, he got the call that his dad's not in the best of health and it might be time for him to ascend the throne. So he drops everything. He rushes over to his family, just, trying to make sure that he's there for them. And he calls Wallis. He's like, it's going to happen. I'm going to have to be king. And not soon after the news of his dad's poor health, Prince Edward did become King Edward, and he did ascend the throne on January 20th of 1936. And it didn't take long after that for Wallis's second marriage to kind of crumble and for her to file for a divorce. People on Edward's end were really quick to see what was going on, right? Like, Wallis is probably going to get a divorce. Edward is now the king, and they're going to be together. But it was very unconventional at this time to really be with somebody who was a divorcee, right? So, I don't know. People were really questionable on this whole decision. My guy, Edward, did not give one singular flying fuck because it took 2 weeks between the time that Wallis announced that she wanted a divorce until Edward was like, I'm dropping everything and we're going over there. He just straight up left the throne for her, which is kind of a power move, honestly. Edward abdicated his spot on the throne before he could have an official coronation, so he wasn't like officially crowned or anything. When he announced he was abdicating, the royal family just held a coronation for his brother instead of him. All things considered, it is really cool that like he wasn't able to get bullied into making a huge life decision just because people didn't agree with him. I think it was cool that he was like, no, I don't need to be the King of England. Goodbye. I mean, it took a while for Wallis to get her divorce finalized and everything, but once she did, her and Edward got married and they lived happily ever after until their respective deaths. So I think we'll end on that kind of happy note, like some of the other stories today were not that happy. So tell me what you think about this video. Let me know if you liked it. It would be really helpful if you did drop a like and subscribe or even commented. I really do enjoy hearing what you guys have to say, and I love hearing about what you would like me to do in the future because honestly, I'm just making some things that are goofy and funny right now. But if you have any ideas, I would love to hear them. I'll catch you in the next one. Bye!